I am Ruth the Truth Torres. Let's talk about our public education and the need for transparency and accountability. I understand the value of a quality education. As a 10th grade dropout, I realized that getting my education was necessary to be able to take care of my daughter. So I went back to school and earned a bachelor's degree at Dallas Community College and Dallas Baptist University, and then a master's degree in international management from FIU. I was also a college business professor for 7 years, and I've worked as a K-12 substitute teacher, all of which gives me added perspective. Just imagine if you lived in a small town with many family-owned businesses for decades. If a big box store comes in, it would quickly shut down all those family-owned businesses and ability to compete. Then, if that big box store wanted to raise prices or decided to leave, it would create a problem, including a food desert, because it would now take a lot of resources and time to reestablish other businesses. That's just one of the many dangers of charter schools and voucher programs. They eliminate our existing public school system, and that school building and land that's been taxpayer paid for will be sold off for pennies on the dollar to become anything in our community, destroying all infrastructure so that taxpayer dollar is paying for private land with privately owned charter schools and vouchers. Even if they are nonprofits, they are privately owned. They will no longer be publicly owned lands, which many of our voting locations are in our public schools. So if those are no longer public property, we may not be able to use them for voting anymore, or it would at least severely restrict our ability to. Also, it wouldn't be able to be used for athletics or community events or to prepare or recover from natural disasters because it's no longer public land. This agenda for uh, vouchers and charters is motivated by greed and fear of the majority minority population when Black, Brown, Asian, and other minority groups together combined will have a greater population than the white population. That is the fear that is motivating this objective to return us to a separate and unequal society, reversing the integration required in Brown v. Board of Education. I've created a comparison chart here so you can see the facts between public education and charter and voucher schools. The lie being told is that charters and vouchers are about parental choice and to stop the woke indoctrination, which is a complete false narrative promoting uninformed choice because parents do not even consider to ask if teachers are certified or if these schools have performance accountability or even really to get into the details of how taxpayer dollars are being used. Listen, this false narrative about woke indoctrination is false. These are workers, or these are folks that live in our community. And the failures of the performance of Texas schools is completely owned by the Republicans who've been controlling everything that's taught in schools and how schools are operated in Texas for 30 years. Out of the 50 states, we are ranked number 42 in education attainment and 44th in funding. We are lagging the majority of the country in funding our education, where we spend only 3.45 of our economic capacity on our public schools and holding increases to teacher pay hostage to privatize our public education. Each of these links on my website provide you support for everything that I say. Did you know that vouchers are a failed public policy that worsens education outcomes? Did you know that the privatization of public education, when there is no accountability or academic improvement, is a national issue kicked into gear by the former education secretary with catastrophic impact? If the former administration is reelected, their plan is to dismantle our entire education system for universal vouchers. Please see the education chapter of Project 2025 and Agenda 47. The privatizing and dismantling our education system robs our children of their future and increases our crime rates. Plus, it blows up our budget. Vouchers are taxpayer dollars for private businesses, giving welfare to the wealthy whose children have never been in public school, giving trillions of dollars in public land grab to become privately owned, and private businesses issuing billions in taxpayer funded no bid contracts every year in every county, with private businesses kicking money back to politicians, robbing our children of their future. Those private businesses operate without oversight and can issue bonds taxpayers will be burdened to pay for in our property taxes without needing a vote from the community. Multiple charter schools have already been caught using money for private jets and stealing money, millions. Money taxpayers will never get back. The cost of vouchers will blow up our budget, just as it has in other states, with zero improvement in performance. Our kids are more than backpacks full of cash. Please see the documentary covering everything that I've talked about here. That's why I'll work for bipartisan legislation for an accountable public education system that produces an equipped workforce with transparency and accountability in public education. Please see my draft bill here. I'll work for full funding for elementary and secondary education, fair compensation for our teachers, and differentiated instructional methods because all of our kids do not learn the same way. I'll work for limited testing to customize learning needs, not just testing for the sake of testing, but testing so that we can customize and build and give our students what they need. I'll work to expand college credits and trade certification while in high school so that every high school graduate should have a high school diploma and either a skilled trade certification or up to 60 college credits to increase access to higher education and lower costs. I'll work to get tax breaks for businesses that provide tuition reimbursement and then provide increased wages to those who complete programs. I'll also work for limited loan forgiveness programs with program price controls to reduce future student loan debt. I will also look to find bankruptcy reform to include student loans because businesses get to walk away from millions of dollars in debt every day. So we need bankruptcy reform for student loans. The people of District 5 deserve accountable, quality public education, fair wages for teachers, and to control our student loan debt. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me. Please connect on social media, subscribe to the newsletter, and sign up to volunteer on the Get Involved page above. I look forward to connecting with you and seeing you vote for Ruth the Truth Torres for U.S. Congress, Texas District 5, allowing me to work for the policies you deserve.